Hello everybody, it's Michael from Gletcher Airguns with another update preview video. Today we're looking at some new Gletcher products that I haven't reviewed yet. If you haven't seen some of my other Gletcher product reviews, make sure to check them out. I've done several reviews on several of their products. And so far I've really been impressed with the product line that Gletcher has been coming out with. So today we're going to look at basically 6 products. I can't get the other 2 on the table, but I'll bring them in a bit. So what do we have here? We have the CO2 B25, which is pretty much a KWC BB pistol, so BB revolver. It's like the KWC 357 that KWC makes. Also Umrex has their own basically branded versions, and now Gletcher also has their own branded ones. They come in various lengths. We'll pop that open in a second here. We also have the SS2202, and again this is another basically KWC product. The SB 2022, I think it's called the 2022 or something like that. Slightly different name, but another KWC product. And you can generally get this one in both plastic slide versions and metal slide versions. I can't remember exactly which ones Gletcher sells. I think they might sell both of them actually, because it does say metal slide on here, so they might have the plastic slide version as well. But of course I would, prefer the metal slide version. It adds a little bit of weight to the gun. By the way, both of these are BB guns. They're all BB guns. All of these are 4.5 millimeter BB pistols. None of them, however, are blowback. We also have the non-blowback version of the, I'm not really sure if I'm going to say this right, but Gletcher, that's how it's spelt. And this is basically a working slide product. Again, full-size magazine, same as the SS2202. Full-size dropout metal magazine holds the BBs and the CO2. Now the Gletcher does have a working slide. It does shoot in single and double action, but it doesn't have blowback. Even the slide catch works on it. Then we have a little bit more simplistic, but all metal gun, metal slide. Pretty sure the frame is metal as well. The BRT84, I'll verify that when I get into it and open them up. So let's just start here. We'll start with the BRT84. Pretty basic gun. Oh, everything's coming apart on me here. So let's get into it. I'll just put this aside for now. So yeah, to me it feels like even the frame is metal, so the frame should be metal here. Okay, nice, decent looking gun. It's solid. Not a lot of working parts. The slide catch is just built in, molded into the metal, but you can see the markings on it. Okay, you do have a magazine release, just a stick mag, and this looks like your standard stick mag that would work in like the Beretta Elite 2, which is a Umrex product, even maybe even some of the Crossman products, but there's a lot of guns that use this style of magazine, so you may be able to mix and match that magazine with other guns. So you can see here some warning instructions, caliber. Now this is where the safety is. It's kind of in a different spot. This would be the takedown lever. Let's see if I can get it to work in safe. So that would be safe, and then pop it in and out, so you push that little bit forward while you move it. And now we have basically fire. So it's just a double action only gun. Barrel comes out, snaps back. As it's coming back, it basically hits the CO2 release valve. Even the hammer is non-working. Sights are just molded in. Okay, pretty straightforward gun. Alright, let's go counterclockwise and take a look at the SS2202 quickly. And again, Gletcher always does nice packaging, usually schematic, parts diagram on there. Nice manuals and everything. They're all really nice. So this is the metal slide version. The slide doesn't actually move back and forth at all. You can't even really work it, but it is a one-piece slide, all metal construction. You do have this nice safety here, and you do have the dropout full-size metal magazine. Nice and heavy weight to the magazine. The gun with the magazine out definitely lightens up because it is a plastic frame, but the metal slide adds that weight to the top of the gun, which really balances the gun out, especially once the magazine's in. You don't have like these some of these plastic guns with metal magazines. They feel pretty good when the magazine's in, but when the magazine's out, it feels like almost like a toy. So there's our branding and licensing there. Gletcher branding, not really licensed. It doesn't really say SIG or anything like that, but it is basically a replica of a SIG. Alright, made in Taiwan. Now, the hammer is a dummy hammer, and from this side you can even see it's too bad they didn't fill that in, but that's just the way that these KWC 2022s are, right? That's just the way they are. Okay, and again, full-size dropout mag. Quite nice. Let's take a look at this side here. KWC, it even, you can even see it says KWC on it, so we're not trying to fool anybody here. Alright. Read manual before using, if I could focus. There we go. There it is. You know, this is an open ejection port, but nothing moves back and forth. But it does look very realistic. If you're a SIG lover, this is a nice gun. And the trigger, even though it's double action only, you can see, very quick. Very fast, not a tremendous amount of pull on it. I remember shooting this gun before. I remember it shoots quite nice. And, well, it'll be interesting to see what kind of FPS you get out of them, because different versions had different FPS. There was a high output one. There was ones that had lower FPS. So it'll be interesting to see what the FPS is. Alright, taking a look at the CLT B25. Again, this is another KWC made gun, redistributed by Gletcher. And it's basically just like the KWC 357, which comes in a variety of different lengths. We have our, well, I'm not going to pull the shells out, but we have our shells, the dummy shells that go in there that hold the BBs and everything. Right? You've seen it before if you've watched my KWC review. This is just the 2.5 inch barrel version. So CLT B25. CO2 goes in the bottom. Use an Allen key. Nice gun. I like the size of this gun over the Dan Wesson style, the ASG sort of Dan Wesson style. I kind of like the action a little better. It's a little smoother for me. Quality seems pretty good. Nice gun though. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Alright, and again, you can check out my KWC 357 review. Longer barreled version, but same gun really at the end of the day. Alright, let's take a look at the Gletcher non-blowback. Again, you know, we have our parts diagrams and all those things. This is a really nice looking gun. Nice weight to it. It does have, I'm going to say a metal frame on it. I'm going to say metal slide. Full-size dropout magazine here. Okay. Holds the CO2 and the BBs. And the slide locks back on the last shot, although there's no blowback. So really, when there's BBs in it, I would imagine it shouldn't lock back, but we'll see what happens when I'm shooting it. I'm not sure. I haven't put any BBs in the mag, but you notice it locks back, and it does have a slide catch release. There's no BBs in here. So yeah, you can see here, you can actually see when the magazine goes up, the slide catch, right? It moves up and down as well. So that's an indicator that when it's out of BBs, you won't be able to, the slide won't lock back. But you know, it's not a blowback gun, so it shouldn't make really much of a difference when you're shooting. You do have single and double action. Really decent trigger on it too. So double action, single action, nice trigger. We have our safety. Okay. Let's take a quick look. Ambidextrous safety as well. Nice. Really nice gun. You know, yeah, it's not blowback. I get that. Some people just gotta have blowback. But still a really nice looking gun. And good weight to it. I don't think the sights are adjustable, no, but nice white dot sights front and back. There it is. Nice gun. Looking forward to shooting that one too. So, you know, it's not blowback, but maybe it's going to get a little bit higher FPS, more shots per CO2, of course. Alright, so a little bit ago I did the Dan Wesson pellet version, the pellet revolver review, and I did the tabletop review, and I did the field test review. Now, there was a little bit of a problem. The ASGs, I guess they've admitted or basically said that yes, there was an issue with their last batch, and so the feet per second was really low on when I tested mine, and that also affected accuracy because the velocity was sort of up and down and wasn't consistent, making the shot, you know, the accuracy not as consistent as well, because velocity will help with consistency and accuracy. So here is not the ASG. Here is the Gletcher version of the Dan Wesson styled gun, but they use a slightly different system for their shells. ASG has like a screw-on shell. Now Gletcher, keep saying that. Gletcher has this basically it's maybe a little easier to use. Put your pellet in there. It's got an O-ring. You just pop it in there, and that's how that works. So it might, you know, I would see it as being quicker to load. I'm not sure if it's going to perform better because of that. So this is the 2.5 inch version. We've all seen the Dan Wesson BB revolvers, same gun, but this is the pellet version with the rifled inner barrel and the pellet shells. Nice case. These guns do come in a beautiful case. Again, Gletcher, I would say, does a really great job of packaging their products up. You know, you're going to pay a little more for the pellet version of the gun, so they're giving you this nice case with it. Pretty cool. And then really quickly, one last product here to show you. Basically the same gun, but in an 8-inch version. So same gun, just 8-inch. So, you know, as long as this thing's putting enough CO2 through the gun, as long as there's enough coming out, then this 8-inch barrel is going to help with velocity. You know, the longer sight, basically the difference between the front and back sight will help with accuracy. Barrel length doesn't really dictate accuracy as much as the barrel length dictates how you can look through the sights without having. The shorter it is, the easier it is to kind of be out of whack. The longer you are from here to here, the better you're basically going to be able to sight that target in with those sights. That's why rifles are a little more accurate. It's not because short-barreled guns are more accurate or the barrel itself is making the gun less accurate. It's just the way that the sights are spread apart. A lot of people don't understand that. Alright? So we've seen all the Dan Wessons before. Basically it's a Dan Wesson 8-inch version that shoots pellets that has this Gletcher specific pellet loading shell. Alright. That's pretty much it. Hopefully you enjoyed this Gletcher update preview. We will be doing full tabletop and probably shooting reviews for most of these guns. Even this KWC version, I have done some reviews on it. I believe I even did a performance test. I can't remember, but it's time to do an update one. Plus this is a whole new different sort of gun with probably a different CO2 system, different valve and stuff, so it'll probably shoot different than my other ones did in the past, which were many years ago. So it'll be interesting to see how these guns perform, so stay tuned for the full tabletop and shooting reviews for these Gletcher products. Thanks for watching another Replica Airguns video. Don't forget to subscribe. Also check me out on Facebook and Twitter. The username is Replica Airguns. Come on down to replicaAirguns.com where we have posts, articles, reviews. Usually there's a lot of pictures and stuff of these guns. I'll take some nice photos so you can check those out, get some nice detailed photos to look at. We also have our Canada and US online Replica Airgun stores where we sell BB guns, pellet guns, airsoft guns, blank guns, knives, and other accessories. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.